As Mashudu is reminding us that investors had started taking long dollar positions in anticipation of the report from The Hague and the International Criminal Court indicting 4 senior members in Kenya's government. But in general, the market seems to have shrugged this news off. It's something that seems to have been priced in.
Very good afternoon to you, Lerato and Mashudu. Yes, indeed. There were some concerns and kind of defensive trading regarding the shilling, and some went long on the dollar. But all in all, the market pretty much had priced the ICC decisions and the events from there. So basically, as far as the markets are concerned, the events of yesterday, which were the ICC confirmation of hearings, were pretty much feedback mechanism for every investor out there or portfolio manager, because from there one would see how well their outlook on the Kenyan markets and the year ahead is positioned to grow.
All right, let's talk about mechanisms for capitalizing on whatever successes we see in the year ahead. The appointment of a new tax boss, it seems to have aroused a lot of the conversation. There were lobby groups against his appointment. Some people say he's relatively unknown, but a blueprint that's been introduced today in terms of what the priorities of the KRA are going to be. What do you know of the new tax chief, and what do you believe his priorities ought to be?
Well, not too much seems to be known in the public limelight regarding the new chief. However, we did have a pullout in several media articles today trying to bring some light on the gentleman. But nonetheless, the personal issues aside, on his role and duty at this point is, as far as I see it, is to try and increase the tax base, widen that up, so that the country's revenues can really be able to support its own programs, and from there, hopefully, our budget, we wouldn't have to go back too much to the donors and the multilateral agencies, and this having been achieved 2 or 3 years ago. So that is really pretty much at this point the big task at hand for the gentleman.
All right, so continuity. The few reports that I read, interestingly, is that as he shadowed the former tax chief, one of the things that he pushed strongly for was parliamentarians paying their taxes. Could you help me understand this issue in Kenya? I would have thought parliamentarians do pay their tax.
Yes, actually they do, and not quite on the other hand. Because what happens is that they do pay their taxes on their gross remuneration, but not on the net benefits. So at the end of the day, their net benefits being the greater chunk of what they take home, they don't quite as much end up paying their fair share of the taxes, and that is what the sticky point is. So the support has been that everyone ought to pay taxes, pay their fair share of the taxes. So the people on the streets of Nairobi and around the country would be very, very keen to see that their parliamentarians actually do pay the fair share of taxes, and especially at this point and this juncture whereby we are bringing in a new constitutional dispensation, it would be absolutely critical that this comes to pass sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move back to the equity side. British American, obviously, they'd issued a profit warning about a fortnight ago. It's an underperformance of their IPO last year. And so what they're doing is trying to build up a war chest to try to diversify the portfolio, try to reallocate investments into real estate. Right. Will that be a buffer for them?
Well, that is the strategy moving forward. The big question on every investor's mind right now is how hot the real estate sector can continue to be moving forward. We are seeing pretty much everyone trying to get a slice of the real estate market, right from even our tea producers, our coffee producers, and now British American coming out to try and get a good foothold on that. So unfortunately for British American, they have actually been the worst performing stock year to date, down about 20% since their announcement earlier in the year. And without, at the end of the day, lower interest rates for the middle-level income earner to be able to get mortgages and from there on spur forward the real estate sector of the economy, one really has questions about the real estate investment play.